burning bridges, 15 Joker on fire, and 16 counter move. Scratch 1, 14, 15, and 16. The 7th is the 48th running of the Belmont Oaks, also the beginning of the late pick 5, and there are no program changes. The 8th, the Suburban, presented by Suburban Life. Number 1, Classicist, make the jockey Dylan Davis. The 9th, the 77th running of the Belmont Derby. Number 1, Blackmail, make the jockey Edgard Zayas. And 6, Pacific Avenue, will race with a cheek piece again. In the 10th, scratch number 4, Bourbon Day. Jockey change for 9, Warp 9 to Joel Rosario. Race 11, scratch number 4, No Ordinary Love. Make the rider of number 7, Probable Choice, Jamie Rodriguez. And scratch number 12, Suited Connectors, 4 and 12, out of race 11. We have lots of activities on this 4th of July. Thanks for spending it with us here at Saratoga Racecourse. We remind you, don't miss the chance to experience Saratoga's popular breakfast and thoroughbred farm tours offered daily, Thursdays through Sunday. During the summer meet, you can enjoy breakfast at Saratoga, followed by a visit to a local breeding or aftercare farm, a unique opportunity to go behind the scenes to visit up close with foals, yearlings, mares, and retired racehorses. The tours include round-trip transportation aboard a trolley shuttle bus, as well as admission to Saratoga Racecourse for the day. Availability is limited. You could sign up today at naira.com/tours. Up next, Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Jackson Muniz. They'll be at the gate for the opener in 87 minutes. Happy 4th of July. Welcome to the spa.
morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Jackson Muniz joining me, Andy Serling, on the first Saturday, second day, and what a difference a day makes.
What a difference a day makes. Happy 4th of July, everyone. It's Independence Day, 250th anniversary, and I don't know, Andy, I'm feeling extra patriotic this year with the World Cup going on. I'm up in Saratoga for the first time with how important Saratoga was for the Revolutionary War and everything, and we've got a great day of racing today, too. I'm excited for it.
You got to get out to the battlefield.
I will.
It's actually fun going out there. You need a little red if you're feeling.
Well,
I of course,
got my
completely
blue.
forgot what day it was.
So.
No, I'm the worst. So anyway, but thank you. I agree. Happy 4th of July to everybody. We got a lot to talk about, so we're going to get rolling along. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code SPA200. Maximum $200 initial deposit. And of course, I want to remind people once again, available in New Jersey as well, though Monmouth did cancel again today. Must still be hot down there. It's rough. We have, just keep them going, Chels. We have a 20% double bonus on the last double here, so you want to opt in for that. If you're playing the late double, just keep them going, and I'll read them as you roll them. 20% win bonus on one horse in the Great Lady M at Los Al. We'll be showing those races on Saratoga Live a little bit later today. We have a July 4th contest, which Jackson is very much involved in the contest. So if you want to talk to him about contests, you see him around the track, feel free to stop him and speak to him about it. You'll have until the third race today to sign up for that $10,000 seeded pool, $300 buy-in. You can only play through Naira Bets.
Yep.
Are we going to have the low rollers back tomorrow?
Yes, starting Thursday.
Starting Thursday. Thursdays and Sundays?
Thursdays and Sundays throughout the meet, yeah.
Okay, cool. And Saratoga Live, 12:30 to 4 on FS2, FS1, 4 to 7:30, and then continuous action FS1 from 7:30 to 11, covering, I think, some Los Al races as well as harness action around the country. So a lot going on today. That's basically 12:30 until 11 tonight. A lot of racing. Race number 1, we'll start out by stowing Mashallah in the debut. Now, this horse obviously did not run nearly as well in the second start, did get involved in the quick pace, going a mile, cuts back in here to 6.5 furlongs. Any semblance of this performance, and she's going to blow the field out of the water. Are we supposed to be a little bit leery of her, though, after the last race, mile or not?
I mean, it's hard not to be, right? Because there's such a stark contrast between her first start and second start. At least there's no scary layoff, there's no scary drop in class. She's worked 3 times since then. They bothered to ship her up to Saratoga. She must be doing okay. And she did draw outside all of the other speed, her main competition in this race. It feels like if she's ready to go, she's supposed to beat this field.
And Tyler should be aggressive. She's faster than these horses, and we did see an extreme bias. And I think I realized how much stronger the rail was in some ways than maybe even just watching. When you saw some of the buyer figures, the first winner got a 98 buyer. The 2-year-old stake winner, the filly in the Schuylerville, she got an 88 buyer, and she ran faster than Charlie Baker's horse. Charlie Baker's horse was making a wide move.
Right.
And I think that's when you can really see the biases, and I agree. I mean, Lovely Christina, you have second, I have third. It's hard to know exactly who she is. Todd Pletcher's numbers, and it's good to see Todd back from a suspension that even I'm befuddled by. I was looking at some stats. 6 to 12-month labs, dirt sprints. He is 24%, but a $1.28 ROI. On the other hand, that is a good percentage, and this horse is not going to be a super short price.
Right, and she was pretty good last year at Saratoga. Her first start, she lost to Carmel Coast, who's come back and proven to be a nice filly. Got the job done second time out. If she's ready to go off the bench, and she's going to have to improve, obviously, to beat this favorite in here, but I don't think that's impossible.
No, I don't think it's impossible that Feminism does well in here also.
Right.
Down on the rail, draws the rail. Jose's clearly going to be aware of staying inside. I don't think this horse has the speed to be close, but she can stay inside at least. And I don't think her first race very good. Her second race also not good. But why are we supposed to give, let the 4 off the hook and not let the 1 off the hook?
She's very similar to Mashallah. They're almost identical in that their first races were really, really good, and then we saw this big drop-off second time out. The difference is Mashallah's first race was so much faster than Feminism was.
Right. If Mashallah, I imagine that Brendan is running back in here thinking, I'm not exactly sure what to expect after the last race, but if she runs back to that first race, she's a major contender for the test.
Correct.
And arguably, this is kind of a prep for the test, not the victory ride, which I think is the race we're running next week or something. Anyway, we'll move on to race number 2. I am not trying to beat favored Accent. We'll take a look at Accent's win down at Tampa. I just think she's been in much tougher since then. To me, she's just too much horse to beat.
Yeah, look, she's been really good lately, and there's no doubt she's been facing better animals than the one she's going to face today, at least those fields as a whole. We're seeing her Tampa Bay race. I thought she was a little lucky, a little fortunate to win this day when the big favorite hooked up with a 70-1 shot. She just had the perfect trip in there. But two back, she did not have a good trip in the stake race. She had a poor ride that day. And then last time, she just never really had clear sailing throughout the stretch in that race. That kind of came apart.
But you're going to try to beat her with Eponine, who will show her last race. What did you think of her trip overall last time out? As I think we'll pick the race up in the stretch, but I think it's worth talking about the whole race.
Well, she made a mess of herself at the start. She didn't break well, and then she was actually like 9th or 10th early on, got really rank and gradually made her way through the field. And look, you're going to see her swing out right here, and she's trying to chase down the eventual winner, who got just a phenomenal trip from an outside
That may have been the best ride of the entire meeting.
It was a phenomenal ride.
Dylan's ride on her was
look, I thought she ran
incredible.
perfectly fine in here. She was 2.5 lengths clear of the rest of the field. This is a fine effort. If she's able to break better today, put herself into the race a little more like we saw from her last year in the Lake Placid, I kind of view her and the favorite very similarly, and if she's going to be a better price, I'm going to take the 4.
Yeah, I almost don't even feel like she broke that badly. I think she kind of took back a little bit, and it probably was the wrong move in that situation. I thought Jose did a really good job of getting in position after that and kind of following the eventual winner of the race.
Right.
But I agree. I think the winner obviously had a slightly better trip. I don't think she had a bad trip.
No.
But I don't think it was a dream scenario. I think
Yeah.
she probably ended up just a little farther back that was in her best interest in there. I agree. I'm not sure what to do with her second off a layoff. They don't always come back and run better. I preferred Accent, but I'm not going to argue in here. I mean, the horse we don't know what to do with is the 5, Make You Mine. Who knows? I mean, those races, she debuts at a mile and 5/16.
Yeah.
And now Chad's running at a mile, and he's got the favorite in the race. I have no idea. I would not ask Chad about a horse like this, but doesn't have the look of let me get a race in this horse off a huge layoff of 17 months and
Yes.
look for more distance next time.
She's a total guess in here. She ran over a mile and a quarter last time. I agree with you completely. It feels like a prep. She'll get some conditioning, and then we'll see her next time out, probably going 11 furlongs.
It does kind of make me want to winter in France and go to Cagnes-sur-Mer and hang out at their race. I mean, they're running mile and 5/16 race on heavy horses in February.
That'd be fun.
How can that not be great?
That'd be
That's
a
gotta
great
be
race to
fun.
bet.
And, you know, I know Ori has that big race, and I don't think Ori is the most ridiculous horse, and I'm always ready to take a Michelle Nevin horse. The problem is that one big fig was earned on the goldest of rails, I thought, in running second in September at Aqueduct. But she does have some ability. She's not ridiculous in here.
Well, especially if she gets the lead in here and they leave her alone, especially on the inner. I mean, she could be very dangerous in this spot, and she has a couple of speed figures that put her right up there against the 2 favorites in here. They were a long time ago, but again, if she gets loose, she could be scary.
Right, because even the race in the Lake Placid is good enough. It's not like she's so far behind. I think she is dangerous. You're going to see with Flavian, though, an Accent. He's going to be going, and he's going to do what he can, I think, to sit the pocket with Accent. So I don't think she's going to be compromised. And I also think that Jose on Eponine, he has a little experience with her. He's not going to get us. He's going to do what he can to not be as far back, because you saw, and I know the pace was obviously much faster last time, but she's not a horse that's devoid of speed. She doesn't
Correct.
have to be. We'll see what happens in race number 3. Race number 3, I'm going to take a negative opinion here, for better or for worse, on Shalzawa, and I'll probably end up regretting it. We'll take a look at that race. Obviously, home record. Number of horses ran okay in here. My problem with Shalzawa is she really made this move into the race, and I know she was making the biggest move from far back, but, I mean, Flavian gave her this incredible ride, and she kind of gets there, and she stalled a little bit late, I thought.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I couldn't tell if maybe she
She's
had a
fourth now.
little bit of traffic trouble. She's in the pink cap on the rail, right about here. Maybe had to pause a little bit. The pace was slow. It wasn't like they went particularly fast up front. She's very dangerous in here. What worried me the most is when she was running overseas. She's another one that was running much further than this mile and 16th distance. So maybe she's a horse that wants to run further than this today.
She also has 2 close losses at relatively short prices in those races, and she's going to be short today. And she may win. I had some reservation. I mean, here's the thing. Secretly Delighted. I mean, she had a good inside trip, too. She maybe lost a little more ground the second turn, but they had similar trips.
Yes.
And Secretly Delighted was coming toward the end. Now, maybe Shalzawa didn't love trying to close inside, and Flavian gets her out in the clear. She'll have a more explosive close.
Right, and well, especially when you're talking about the price difference between these two. They were separated in nose. One of them's going to be 5-2. The other's going to be 9-2. I mean, it feels like in that scenario, you're supposed to bet the 5.
Yeah, and I really wonder if Shalzawa is going to be a shorter price. You
She
know,
could.
the Chad Brown factor and
Yeah.
Flavian Pratt. You're going to try the firster for Phil Antonacci, who's certainly done a lot of damage over here in the last couple of years.
I just think she's really interesting in here, and she's a filly that's been working over at Lindy Farms up in Connecticut. They worked 5 times over there. Shipped her over to Saratoga in the middle of June for just 1 workout on the grass. And she got hooked up with Queen of Hawaii, who, if you recall, was a Grade 3 winner last year overseas. She was 6-1. And
she's running on Thursday.
I think she might be, yeah.
Yeah, she's got the rail on Thursday.
Yeah, and she was 6-1 in the Breeders' Cup, Grade 3 winner. She was paired up with that one in a workout. I thought Saint Tropez was going much better than that filly, and that's a real filly of quality too. So, look,
so if she runs badly, I can throw out Queen of Hawaii on Thursday.
That's
so
exactly
you're doing the
how it
handicapping
works.
for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's good.
No, look. I think she's has a lot of ability in here, and me and my buddies always talk about this all the time. Even if the trainer stats aren't great first time out, if you think this filly can run, you have to bet him first time out, because if you're right about it, even if they run a good second or third, you're never going to get that price again.
I agree with that. I mean, for the stats talking about his first-time starter in turf routes, Phil is 1 for 14 with a $1.29 ROI. But he's already shown how capable he is in winning these races, and I don't think you're supposed to get that caught up. First of all, the horse is 8-1 morning line. You're never supposed to get caught up in a trainer stat with 8-1 shots.
Sure.
You worry about those bad stats with lower. I agree. Listen, the guy is super dangerous. I'm not going to knock anybody for taking him. I kind of like the number 8 in this race, non-consecutive terms, the name notwithstanding. I thought this horse actually ran really well in here. Broke 3/4 of a length slow. And, this is one where I don't think it's one of these things where after a race is over, I imagine the rider said, I probably should have waited a little bit long. I don't think he gave a bad ride. I think he gave a ride that ended up maybe getting her nailed a little bit. The winner just got a perfect trip, saving ground. I thought she ran extremely well in this race, in a race that was collapsing at the end.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it.
It's Gulfstream,
I mean,
so who knows?
She was 1-5 at the 16th pole. She had a 2-length lead and got run down. Now, the filly that beat her did come back to win and did improve. But, the losses have kind of piled up for her at short prices. She was facing some good horses. I don't know. That she definitely has some ability in here. She just was too short of a price for me at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm willing to take 7-2 on her. I like the last race, but I agree. It's a little hard when the one race that sticks out as the better race was at Gulfstream, because sometimes those races are unreliable. Is there any chance the 10 can wire the field? You got to imagine that Jose's going to come out swinging with that horse, right?
That's your one chance. You're at the outside post. That's the only way you're going to win this race, is to send to the front and see what happens. And the comeback race was fine. I think they probably got what they wanted out of it. Just get some conditioning into her and have her ready for second.
Not what I wanted out of it, I better. Yeah. Race number 4. Race number 4, I see we slightly disagree. Take a look at Lightning Strike's first race. I thought Lightning Strikes was one of the most overbet horses on the entire, after Renegade was like the second most overbet horse on Belmont Stakes weekend. And looking forward to people having a chance to take a short price on him again. The Jim Dandy, I believe, he's coming back. That's coming up a really good race. I almost wondered if that race was kind of a prep for this horse. I mean, obviously, I think Miguel would want to win, but I almost wonder, I need to get a race into her. There isn't a dirt race coming up. This turf race comes up. I'll run her in there, see if she handles the turf. If nothing else, it'll make a prep for her, and now she has this race. And I thought this first race was very good. If she can build on that, I thought she was just better than these.
I agree with that point. The problem for me was it was 16 months ago, and she wasn't seen since. She didn't run great on the grass, and maybe she's just not a grass horse. Maybe you're right. She just needed the race. I just preferred others in this spot at that price.
Talk about Grayson Grid, who obviously is a very logical horse.
Yeah, look, if she runs back to that race 2 back, she's arguably the horse to beat. I mean, it was a really strong number. She got a good trip in there. Last time out, she didn't break great. I think she probably found herself too further back than she probably wanted to be. Now she has an outside post. It won't bother her as much if she breaks a little slowly. We'll see. I wasn't in love with this race. I found it to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, the other problem in the 8 is, if we have yesterday's track, she ends up with an outside chasing trip, which turns out to be sort of lousy for her. I looked a lot at the horse that you've picked second. I put third, Princess Wadadley. I know she's a little bit slow. I'm not sure she isn't a little bit better than she looks.
Well, look, I don't know what you're supposed to make of the speed figure last time going 4.5 furlongs, but she did beat that field pretty handily. She was drawing way late. The race 2 back, she was way against a big bias.
Track, yep.
You just toss the race out. And the race, her career debut was good enough, and the buyer was just okay. But the time form number, it's one of the fastest races in this whole field, and she is the inside speed. If the track is playing like it was yesterday,
he's going to go.
He's going to go.
I think she's going to outrun Queen's Cat, and if she does that, I agree. It makes her a little bit interesting in here at a price. And Britain's another horse I think will take some money in this race. I don't want a horse. obviously, Delgado has decent enough numbers on trainer switches, but not so good that I'm dying to take a horse he gets from Chad Brown.
Yeah.
Who I'm never sure was that good to begin with.
Right. I mean, they paid $1 million for this horse, but
they buy a lot of horses for a lot of money.
There's no way that the racing gods are going to let a horse named Britain win on the 4th of July. Maybe she'll get second, like the Brits did in the Revolutionary War. Yeah, they're going to finish a second
really,
place
that's
my big angle on this horse.
Do you think they thought maybe we shouldn't enter on 4th of July?
I would not have entered. I would have waited until tomorrow.
This could be a real problem that you're bringing up here. Well, we'll see what happens in race number 4. Race number 5, and we'll break after the 5th, is the Sanford. I think you and I were both interested in betting Jack's Golden Goal in here and will not play. We'll take a look at Booked. With a decisive win last time. There are a lot of things that Steve Asmussen does extremely well. One of them is not coming back in 2-year-old dirt sprints off of maiden wins. His numbers have been consistently mediocre for him. And maybe in some cases it's because he gets them ready for those races, they don't come back. And some are good horses, but that worries me a little bit. It's a horse to beat, though, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's run the fastest race, and especially after scratches, I think you're supposed to take a much longer look at him. I'm not as against him now. You and I were both interested in the runner-up, obviously, but we'll see how he does. I don't really want to bet him at a short price.
Yeah. Talk about, do I have the, well, actually, can we show the pocket listing, Chelsea? Can we show that replay next instead? Yeah. Since Jackson picked and talk about this horse, I know nothing about this horse.
Yeah, I swear I scratched in this horse. I did not just pick him because he's from California, but I don't know what he beat.
Does anybody believe that?
No, it's
nobody's
true.
buying that.
Look, I don't know what happens right here.
It's your first lie on Talking Horses?
No, he got really green right there, and he was trying to swap leads, and he almost hits the rail. And look, he beat a field that was nowhere near the quality of field that he's going to be facing today, but he also crushed him. He was never asked at any point
he was
throughout
just cantering
the entire stretch. He could be the speed of the speed. It's tough to know, but the fact that he's here just 3 weeks later off of that race, they bothered shipping to Saratoga, they knew it would be open company. I think that's a pretty good sign of confidence.
Do you know that Doug O'Neill shipped I'll Have Another here for the hopeful?
No, did he?
When he won the Derby, I remember looking at his PPs again after the race and going, oh my God, this horse ran the hopeful.
He didn't do very well, obviously.
I think he ran 5th or 6th, yeah. I think Currency Swap won it that year, but I'm not sure. I'm scared of that horse, I agree. And, you know Ricardo wants to come out running on Booked, but, he's a horse that kind of stutters a little bit at the start.
He does.
And if he does, man, he could be gone.
And I think that was a big thing for Book last time is on debut, he didn't break great from the rail, and it kind of cost him. Last time out, he had the outside post. His didn't break as well again, but he had the outside. It wasn't as.
He was good last time, though. He was really. I think he's a good horse. I'm not against him. He's a good horse.
I agree.
I took Vicino. You look at Mark's horses, and obviously in a big inside track, this horse could be problematic. I thought the track was pretty speed favoring last time out, and I know he got like a decent setup in front of him. But he made a nice run to run these horses down. It just seems like Mark's horses run better second time out. Look at how much better that horse ran yesterday in the Schuylerville, and she lost partly because she ran to a buzzsaw and partly because of a bias.
Right.
I mean, she ran a winning race in there. Her effort in that race will win that race a lot more than not. And I just sort of trust in Mark with these kind of horses he enters in our stakes. They just usually seem to be super live.
They do, and Cassie has said many, many times, like, he does not get his horses fully cranked out to go first time out. They're going to typically improve from start 1 to 2. It bothered me a little bit. I thought he got more of a setup than you did. I mean, there was 3 horses across the track.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't disagree.
Point, but he is like the one proven closer in this race if they all gun for the front.
Yeah, but they may not. What do you do with Risassi? I mean, I think it worked yesterday being against these big maiden winners from down at Gulfstream. They just don't seem to come back and get it done.
Yeah, it's a tough read, right? But I will say his time form number was, I believe, the fastest of the race.
No, I think the 2 is faster.
Was it 2 faster?
Yes, he's second fastest.
Okay.
Oh, actually, yes, the horse is left, yes.
Okay, yeah, second fastest. He's the outside post. He is potentially the speed, but it's just you don't know. He's such an unknown, and I don't know if I want to be betting him if there's just so many questions to answer.
It just feels to me like we, over the years, see a lot of these horses come with very impressive debuts, and they don't necessarily run back. We'll see what happens. We'll take a break and come back with the pick 6.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NyraBets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch and bet on live horse racing from over 300 tracks worldwide. Get expert picks, play live money betting contests, and boost your bankroll with daily promotions. NyraBets is the official betting partner of Saratoga Racecourse. Sign up now. New members use promo code SPA200 to claim your $200 deposit deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Jackson Muniz and Andy Serling. First Saturday, July 4th, and the 6th race. I don't know that there will be a more difficult handicapping puzzle than this race. And I put the 15 and 16 on top, and then I realized, they probably wouldn't get it anyway. They're both entered back into this race on Thursday, so I knew they weren't going to run when I was looking last night. So then I decided on Linda's horses, Punto 40. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate your scratches today. I'm glad I wasted time on Punto 40. I thought this was an incredibly difficult puzzle, and I ended up scratching into a horse that you picked. I don't know. We'll show the race they come out of last time with Cristobal making the run. I thought I guessed of the horse that ran there. Maybe she's the one that been the best race, but maybe it was Van Vollenhoven. But I took Vollenhoven last time, and I'm just so sick about the beat. I didn't want to take him back, but he'll probably win today.
Yeah, and I felt like there's a lot of horses coming out of this common race here, and it was a difficult one to dissect. I picked Cristobal, who was going to finish third in this race. He's the 11 horse, and he broke from the outside. He made this big move from off the pace, and in the turf sprints that week, there were really not a whole lot of big moves from the back half of the field. I did want to upgrade him a little bit based on that, and now I don't love the rail, but he was a horse last year as a 2-year-old who was capable of being forwardly placed. I don't think he's going to want to be coming from dead last in this race. So if he's able to get mid-pack-ish, I just think he's got a chance to move forward second off the bench. And if he does, can avoid some traffic, he's going to be right there.
I thought Manny gave us sort of a sensational ride last time out and really gave him every best chance to win in there. Listen, I'm not wildly against Truman's Commander. He was coming off a layoff. I thought he had a pretty good trip in there, but he's got back races that are good enough, and he can be a bit more forward. What do you do with a horse like Wrighton, who I had in there? I know it was a maiden claiming race, but this horse did run a big figure. It was November. Sometimes those races are a little tough to judge.
Right.
And last time out, he completely and totally blew the break. So I don't want to condemn him off his last race where he broke 2 to 3 lengths behind the field.
Well, and to his credit, in the maiden breaker, the third-place finisher, Sammy Sino, has come back and turned out to be a pretty good horse.
Run 2 good races.
So even though that was, he beat a horse of quality in that race. And as you said last time, he didn't break, but I don't know. I didn't really think he really picked up his feet at any point after that was my issue.
And you just can't. Did you tell me you were going to pick Mozambique?
No.
Somebody else tell me Mozambique?
That was the guy we met at dinner.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, he was in. That's why you picked him second, because the guy at dinner liked him?
No.
Really?
That was not a lie.
That's the
other one might have been. This one's not.
I wish this horse had some turf pedigree, but Golden Sense is a decent enough influence, but this is not exactly a screaming turf pedigree.
No, and I'll admit I did like him a little bit more with the presence of the one in there. With the one coming out, that does take takes a lot of speed out of this race. He's going to drop out the back, make one run. My angle was his dirt figures are every bit as fast as what these turf horses are running. It's a huge unknown if he can run on the grass, but if he can translate it over at that kind of price, I'll take a little shot.
Can Mike Maker wake up King Puck?
Well, he looks way better now after the scratch of the one, doesn't he? Because if he's able to break on top and get to the front, control this thing, he's got some of the fastest races in this field as well.
He's a
very
major
dangerous.
contender if some of his races went the wrong way. Mike's numbers they're actually okay. Trainers switch on the turf in sprints. He's 16% with a 218 ROI, and he's actually had some success at Saratoga. At Naira, he's 3 for 16, but a positive ROI. I don't know. I don't think that was impossible. This race is very, very hard.
Yep.
Race number 7, the Belmont Oaks, the Grade 1 Belmont Oaks. I would say in race 7, and I didn't send the replay, but Abashiri, who we both have second, in my opinion, is way the horse to beat in here.
Yes. She last time out in the Irish Guineas, she lost to Precise, who is a 4-time Grade 1 winner overseas. Second place finisher was True Love, who is a 2-time Grade 1 winner, and I believe she's won 2 or 3 other graded stakes as well. I mean, you can make a real case. Those are the 2 best fillies in Europe right now.
3-year-old fillies.
3-year-old fillies, yes, excuse me. And now she's coming to the States against a field it's just simply not as strong as that one was. And the other thing, too, is it's not like she's just Euro who drops way out the back and makes one run and could potentially be a little pace compromised. She's very capable of putting herself into the race. She's way the horse to beat, and if you can actually get 5 to 2 on her, I think you're probably supposed to bet her.
They tend to love betting these Godolphin horses, and I agree. I was surprised that David had her that high, and maybe she will be, But I don't know. They just seem to really love betting on them. And I agree with you with Buick riding. She's really way the horse speed. I think she's better than Kensington Lane. She obviously had run against Kensington Lane. Kensington Lane was fifth last time out. Showed a lot of speed. I don't know what to do with her. I guess at a better big price. Maybe if you think the 8's way the horse to beat, you're supposed to at least throw the 3 in.
Sure, but she was also beaten, was it 2 lengths, 3 lengths? It wasn't like she was particularly close.
She didn't do much. She did have some speed in there, however. Let's talk about horses that ran here and look at Faithfully Departed and Storm's Wake. I want Storm's Wake out of this race. While Faithfully Departed was getting this incredible trip, saving ground on the rail, did break a step slow. I thought Storm's Wake was 3 wide or more most of the trip around the track, and I just don't think she ran a worse race. She's going to be a better price in here. And the thing is, I trust Brian Lynch shipping in here more than some trainers that are going to ship in here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, she did not have any kind of trip in that race. She was just wide throughout, never got cover. You're supposed to upgrade that performance in here. I wasn't in love with her race 2-back, and I thought she got a phenomenal ride from Rosario 3-back when she was able to win and paid $44 in that race. Are you a little worried about the lack of pace in here? Do you think she's going to get enough pace?
Well, you know, Just Aloof is supposed to be in front. They're supposed to go with Just Aloof. Okay. And since we're talking about it, let's show the Imagination Lady Just Aloof race. I mean, I don't think you can get a better trip than Imagination Lady got that day. Mm-hmm. And now with post 10, I think Tyler, all of his powers, may not be able to get the kind of trip he gave this horse last time. Yeah. And I know that Just Aloof was just sort of like running in place along, but I think she's improved a lot. And given the possible dearth of speed, I think it's a good situation for May to just go. Now, maybe Abashari or maybe even Kensington Lane are going to show speed in here, in which case she can sit behind them. But I would tend to think that her speed is better than the European speed. And I just think it's a perfect situation because she's forward and Fitzwright is not slow, but I don't think you want to rate both of the horses.
Correct.
And so I think she's going to be forward. And I think Just Aloof has a chance. We'll show Fitzwright winning last time. You're coming right back with her.
I am, and I'm perfectly willing to admit that she got a perfect ride that day. I mean, she looked the winner every step of the way. I just think there's a chance she gets the exact same trip again in this race.
She's gotten good.
She has. She's improved every single time. Why can't she take yet another step forward? And if she can get the pocket trip again, if she can get the jump on Abashiri, I mean, I think she can be right there at 6-1. That's a pretty good price.
Yeah, and I think her last win was interesting because a lot of people, myself certainly included, was wondering if the yielding turf had a lot to do with her big performance 2-backs. It was such an improvement over her prior races. I know she had a little time to grow up, but it was still not. I mean, she had run much slower races, and then she backed it up on a very firm course. So it just seems like she's a horse that's improved dramatically.
I agree. The one little question I have is, and I know Chad had something similar in the article I read, is she going to get better with more distance? That's one we'll have to find out about her. But
because
it wasn't
she's a charlatan?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see if that's the case. You know, Time to Dream at least did a little running, but she didn't really finish last time. And I'm just, she seems like a horse that was good last year that has not, she's improved a little bit, but she hasn't really taken a big step forward.
Correct. And I've kind of seen enough of her at this point. She's had some pace to chase. She's been beaten by a few of these already at this point. I'd preferred others.
Can Ultimate Love improve second time of a layoff? Because she was pretty good last year, and she's a big price. And, you know, I wonder if Johnny's going to look to be a bit more forward in here. I don't think she ran that badly last time, and she was good enough as a 2-year-old that I wouldn't just give up on her after one start this year.
She was favored in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. I mean, there were absolutely expectations here, and last time out she chased a horse that just got completely loose, nearly ran her down, but she does have to take a pretty big step forward.
She does. I agree. But, you know, that horse, while she finished 4th, Coach Missoula in the one again, she ran 2 buyer points faster. She didn't disgrace herself in there. And maybe it's just a horse for Mike Trombetta that maybe needed a race a little bit off the layoff.
Very possible.
So I don't think it's a huge price if somebody liked her that I would be that dismissive. Race number 9, the Suburban came up, a super, super fun race. I'm curious what the prices are going to be in this race. And I also think we'll get to Ford Steel after the start. How is that going to affect the race? We'll show last year's Suburban when Phileas Fogg was able to both rate, didn't rate that day. It was another race. Was able to beat Antiquarian. With Ford Steel in here, I just don't see him getting the same trip. I think Antiquarian is a the horse to beat in here.
I agree. And look, Phileas Fogg, as you said, had things his own way this day on the replay. Ford Steel has to go. And those 2 horses are absolutely at their best when they're in front. Feels like they have to hook up in this race. And isn't Antiquarian going to get the exact same trip he got last year in the Jockey Club Gold Cup?
Yeah, and the other thing is that, while, listen, Phileas Fogg rated in that race, he rated in the Excelsior. He was rating behind horses, one of them was a rabbit, that just weren't going to be competitive.
Right.
Whereas the speed in this race is a horse you may have to deal with, because as we show Ford Steele's last race, I don't want to just, we've seen Safi's horses run these huge races out of nowhere in a number of big occasions, and it necessarily may not work out going forward. White Barrio took no money, did no running at Churchill. I don't totally trust it. Where'd it come from? But I didn't think that was a big speed track at Santa Anita this day at all, and he ran big. I don't want to be dismissive, especially if we have yesterday's track.
Yeah, and look, he obviously didn't beat a whole lot in this race, but they did not hand him the race.
He beat him by a whole lot.
He beat him by a whole lot. They went fast early. He opened up on the field late. He got a fast number. He crushed him. And he's done nothing but improve and improve and improve with each and every passing start. I was able to see some works coming out of that race and compare them to some works earlier in the year, and he looks like he's doing really well. It's just the Phileas Fogg is a big, big problem for this horse, and I'm not sure he's going to be as effective if he has to sit second.
I don't think he's sitting second.
No.
I don't think Flavien is giving up the lead with this horse unless they're just going too fast, in which case there's nothing he can really do about it. If they are, does it help a horse like Tiztastic? Does it help a horse like Yo Daddy, some horses that are prices? I was talking to Nick Tamaro on the way over, and he's going to take a shot with Tiztastic. He did run a big figure, and he does figure to get pace in here. I just don't know if he's good enough, but you could do worse than take shots with Steve Asmussen in races like this at big prices.
Yeah, and he's a 4-year-old, and he's got plenty of upside as well. I just felt like his two biggest wins, he got giant setups both of those days. Maybe he gets it again here, but if he does get that kind of setup, I just felt like there were better closers in this race, like Hit Show and maybe even Stars and Stripes.
You've got Hit Show third. I don't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, you see Original Sin winning that race. Now, to be fair, he ran a big figure the race before that. I just wonder how good that race was. But Hit Show is a horse that, from time to time, runs big races.
He does.
Dubai World Cup.
He does, and we saw him do this last year coming out of Dubai. He ran not great in the Stephen Foster and then jumped up big second time coming back from Dubai.
At Mountaineer.
At Mountaineer, but he did get a big number that day.
He did. He almost beat Magnitude in the Clark.
Right. He's good when he shows up, when he gets pace, and when he doesn't have traffic. Last time he had some traffic trouble. I still wish once he had gotten out, he'd shown a little more kick in the lane, but maybe he's just a horse that needs to be clear and needs to just grind and grind and grind.
I'm not against Antiquarian if he's 3-1 in here. I'm not against him if he's 6-5, but I think at 3-1 he's probably more than a fair price. This is a very, very competitive race. Take a look at Stars and Stripes and the Ben Ali. I feel like Stars and Stripes is either ultimately a very good pick or just a stupid pick, because there's a chance he's just not good enough, and obviously he's going to have to improve a bit. But how much does he have to improve? And unlike Parchment Party, who I think is very good, but is a horse that wants even more distance,
right.
I don't know that Stars and Stripes is that kind of horse, and he is improving with every start. And it feels a little bit like, I don't know the reason, I'm just guessing on this, that Bill probably decided, let me give him a little time. He's run 3 races already this year, and get ready for the second half of the season. Now, obviously, he hasn't shown to be good enough, and Bill's got some pretty good older horses in his barn. But this might be the kind of race for him to step forward and get $15 on him if he's good enough, because he's not that far behind. And he's also a horse that has enough speed to put himself in position where he can close, but he's also not going to be compromised.
Right, and as you said, he's a 4-year-old in this race. He's improving every start, and he's, of all the horses in this race, it kind of feels like he has the most upside, the most potential to move forward in this spot. I wasn't in love with his most recent race. I thought top of the stretch, turning for home, he was kind of going to blow by, batten down, and open up on that field, and it just took him a long time to get by that foe, and then he started flopping leads late, and that's just something horses typically do when they're tired. And I don't know if a mile and a quarter is necessarily going to be his game against this caliber of a field.
I also feel like the one bad race, that's a very fair point, the one bad race he ran the Dwyer, I think a lot of people remember, that was a day where Bill Mott ran a bunch of logical horses, and they ran badly, like there was a virus in the barn or something, and he had that Stars and Strides.
Stars and Strides was there,
the heavy favorite in the turf race.
And he didn't run a step.
I didn't love him in there, but he was awful, and he's a much better horse than that.
Right.
So I kind of don't hold that race against him. We'll see. This is a super fun running of the Suburban, and it's also a good example of, when all the big dogs ran in that Foster, and that was a great race. I'm not knocking it. But then you get a race like this because these horses are good horses, and they obviously not good enough to run against them, at least at this point. Though Antiquarian is capable of competing at a high level when he runs his best races, and he's the one to beat in here. Race number 9, I had some trouble overall with some races in here, and I think one of the debates is who's going to be favored, and David has them 7-2 and 3-1. West End Kid or Remember Mamba, and we'll start with West End Kid, and I don't want to knock him. He's been very, very good. I just wonder if maybe this race was not quite as good as some of the others in here.
Yeah, and look, I thought he got a perfect trip last time out, and I bet him in here, and going down the backside, I'm like, how does this horse lose from here? He just had absolutely everything go his way. I just kind of wish I saw a little bit more from him because this field is much stronger than the one he faced.
And he also doesn't figure to have the same kind of pace scenario.
Yeah.
Because I think Third Coast is going to go. I think Touch of Fire has speed. You know that Flavia on the outside is not going to let him get away with it. It feels like he's going to be taking a little more pressure from some better horses today. So like you, I'm trying to beat him. And I'm trying to beat him with the Moto horse that you're a little bit against, it seems. Remember Mamba. I mean, stark contrast to who was supposed to run here, would have been a heavy favorite. Unfortunately, Michael McCarthy didn't like his last work and he decided not to run him. This is his win in the Transylvania. He feels like a horse that's still figuring things out and winning races with decent figures while he's figuring things out. And then he ran a very big race running second last time.
He did, and no doubt, I mean, his race last time, Stark Contrast, as you said, was really good, and Stark Contrast would be favored in here. I'm just worried. He's a horse that has no early speed whatsoever, and there is not much pace in this race. I mean, he might be dead
Projector
last.
has the pace quick.
I disagree.
You don't agree?
I disagree. There's no true speed horse in here. There's horses that maybe want to be close, but there's no the one that's going to be sending to the front. And even if he does get the right kind of setup, aren't these Euros probably going to be able to outkick him?
I don't know how good the Euros are. You know, you obviously are taking a more stronger role position than I am, picking them first and third. Yeah. And one is Pacific Avenue coming in for Godolphin. And this is the Jumeirah 2000 Guineas. And I guess you're probably right. If Godolphin couldn't win at Maidan, why is he supposed to win on a neutral course against this horse who, I don't disagree, ran a better race, Title Roll.
Yeah, look, Title Roll they were kind of together going on around the turn. They did get a lot of pace, but Pacific Avenue was covered up. He was on the rail. He saved all the ground. Title Roll did not get any cover. He was wide throughout, and he beat him on the square, and he beat him by a length. It wasn't like they were right there head and head at the wire. I think Title Roll is absolutely the horse you want of those two, and he's the horse I want to bet if he's going to be 5-1.
I think that's perfectly fair. I'm not going to argue with that. I guess my problem is, I thought that Pacific Avenue moved a little bit forward. He didn't run great in the Guineas, but he ran okay. Title Roll, I thought that field he beat in Germany last time. Just judging by looking the horses up in racing posts, they just didn't look very good.
Sure.
So
sure.
I'm wondering how good those races were. I'm always a little leery of the German races. I know that the Godolphin horse, what's his name? He's coming over for the Clement, I think. Rebel Romance, yes, I think he's run over there. But in general, a cut below. I do want to take a look at the Touch of Fire Tiernagog race. And I don't have a problem with Touch of Fire. He could be an improving horse for Brad, and I won't be shocked when you're right and I'm wrong about him. Having said that, I want Tiernagog in this race. I'm not worried that this is going to be a race that's going to be incredibly unfavorable to the closers. You may be right about it. This is his first turf race. This horse drew off with a soft trip on the front end. I thought he really came running from, I mean, he was way back into the stretch. Yeah. And maybe Ricardo can get him a little bit more into the game.
Well, and to his credit, too, he got shuffled a good 2 or 3 lengths early on in the race, lost all positioning. I felt like that was a horse you're supposed to upgrade coming out of there.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't think he's going to get the pace. We and I disagree on that. But he's absolutely a horse that has a big late kick.
Yeah, I thought he was very interesting for Brennan because I'm not sure he isn't a little bit better on the turf than he was on the dirt. Yeah. And he might be a horse that's sort of sneakily improved. Bo just didn't run badly last time. In his second race, I thought he could run a little bit better, too. You know, Blackmail draws the rail again. He's been getting good trips. I thought Boltus had more upside than anybody else in here.
Agree. And he didn't have the best trips last time. He took up a couple different points in there. The pace wasn't fast. I thought he ran fine. If he can take a step forward, second start of the year, he can make some noise.
I thought he was in good position, Manny, but I agree. He got a little bit shuffled out during the running of the race. Mm-hmm. The 10th race is a race where you and I are going to agree in here, and I think for an obvious reason, I'll let you talk about Bank Frenzy.
Yeah, Bank Frenzy ran on that June 3rd card, and it was a day where there's a big inside bias. And this race specifically, I mean, there's a point down the backstretch where you can pause the head on. You can see where the horse is at completed the trifecta where they were all glued to the rail, and they were all like 15-1, 18-1, and like 25-1.
I bet Dr. Kraft.
Yeah, I did too.
It was 30 to 1.
I did too. It was
30 to 1.
It was brutal.
That was a bitter.
So.
But I agree.
Point
This
is, he was against the track.
3-4 wide around the track.
Yes.
Manny never had a chance to tuck in and get position in there.
Yeah.
And he was just so dramatically against track. And it's not like he doesn't have good races going back, and he draws well inside. This is an automatic bet for me.
I agree. Especially if he's going to be that kind of price. Yeah. He's run well the Wilson shoot. He can be forward. 8-1's a great price.
What do you do with Bramido? We both have fourth. I mean, Steven Schauer has been winning a lot of races. And he is in raging form.
Yeah.
This is the toughest race he's been in, but he is running fast figures and competing against solid horses. I thought he ran well last time. I don't want to be dismissive of him. And it's a tougher spot, but it's a very, very tough race.
Right, and he's run well in his last 2 starts, or the last 3 starts. He's won 3 in a row. He's gotten pretty good as of late. I don't love that he was a vet scratch a few weeks ago. I mean, that kind of turned me off a little bit, as well as the outside post. He might find himself a little too far back, and there are other closers in here that are pretty good as well.
Speaking of outside posts, let's take a look at the Gotham that Flood Zone won. And if there's a lesson in here, it's stop sending horses over to the UAE Derby, because it just feels like he ran huge that day, and he's never come close to running back to this race. He doesn't draw well, but I don't want to be overly dismissive. He might be a horse that'll appreciate more distance in here. And his bad race at Colonial, I don't want to get too caught up in Colonial races. Maybe he just didn't recover from that Dubai trip, but somewhere in there is a pretty good horse.
I agree, and look, we have to talk about the pace in this race, because outside of Tarantino, like who's going to be going to the front?
Flavia is going to be going with this
to.
horse in that post, and he
to.
can get good position. And I don't love him in here. I don't love the post, but I don't want to just sort of ignore him.
Right.
Because he does have a huge race as a 3-year-old. Can he run back to it? Let's talk about some other horses. You have full screen in there. I don't know what to do with him. They gave him away of those big races, and he was not good last time, but it's Safi off the claim, and it's dangerous.
I did think that he never really had clear sailing in the stretch. I thought he was between horses. I don't really think he was able to get out. I'm not also convinced he necessarily had the horse had he gotten through. But as you said, he's going to Safi Joseph barn. It was his first start in 6 months. I'm not going to be surprised if he moves forward off of that and could make some noise late.
Ultimately, I don't need him as the favorite in here.
That's fair.
I don't trust him enough. I just thought it was weird how he disappeared after he runs 2 huge races, and they come back and they enter him for 110,000. And I understand he's a 7-year-old gelding.
Right.
It's not that big a deal. They claim him for $100,000, but he ran too well to be that dismissive. I mean, honestly, he ran well enough in those races that they could have run him in the Suburban off that form, and he would have been one of the favorites in there off of that form.
Right.
So I don't want to be, I just don't trust him. I thought Capital Idea was dangerous. I know his race in the Blame wasn't as good. Those horses may be a little bit better, and he does like a mile, and he's run some very good races up here last year. Can he refine that form?
Maybe. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of his. I thought his race 3-back, he's going to be overbet off of that speed figure. And Grande maybe Grande just completely tailed off.
He did.
But
he imploded since that race.
I wasn't sure what to do with him. I thought other horses in here were just as fast, if not faster, and they're going to be better prices than he is.
Tarantino, you have third, is the speed in here. Yeah. And, I don't think he's necessarily good enough, but I wouldn't want to be dismissive of a horse that's supposed to be in front that's 8-1 morning line.
Right. Whether there's a bias or not, out of the Wilson chute, you want to be forward.
Agreed.
And you want to be on the inside. He is both of those things, and he ran a fast race last time. Now, that was a much softer field than what he's going to face today, and he's got to do it out of the Wilson chute, and there's some things going on. But I don't know. If he's in front, why can't he win this race?
He can.
Yeah.
I agree. And especially if we have yesterday's track, and I think, by then you'll have had some time to sort of pay attention and see how it works. Reason Analysis and Tuscan Sky are both sort of fringe players at prices, but I don't think both are totally ridiculous.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to do with Reason Analysis, because he had run some good races that are maybe a little too slow to win this thing, but he's been gelded since. He seems to be training well from what I understand, and if he takes a little step forward, he's probably supposed to be right there.
Yeah, the problem with him, though, is he's also a little bit pace dependent.
Yeah.
I think that's problematic as we move on to the final race and take a look at a couple of replays, and we'll start out with the replay of the horse you have on top, Morning Prayer. I thought he had a good trip last time, but he ran very well in there, and he draws well, and he's kind of the horse to beat, right?
Yeah, she did, and she had the outside post, and now she goes from the outside post to an inside post, and I thought she ran perfectly fine in this
a well-bred, well-meant Cassie horse.
Right, and New York Special is supposed to be a pretty good filly. They were way clear of the rest. I just think if she runs back to that race, I think she's way the horse to beat if this version of her shows up today.
I don't disagree. I mean, she's one of these horses that Tom Morley took a lot of tough beats, and these wins, they're supposed to turn to wins. I mean, he doesn't need to hear that because it's annoying. It's always annoying when you're a trainer, and he was on an incredibly unlucky run of losing one fight after another, and people say, oh, those horses will turn to wins. Nobody wants to hear that. No horse player wants to hear that when you lose 8 straight photos. Don't worry, you'll start winning them. Yeah, no, I don't want to hear it, and I get that, but they are going to turn to wins. And silly season. You've got a horse that's 2-1 in the line, and I do have the horse second. I don't know what to do with this horse because I don't love the race this horse comes out of in there. And, Graham Hill has done terribly since that race. I thought it was a bit dubious, but it does seem like these horses run well for Chad. But she's going to be overbetting here. I probably should have put her third behind the 1.
Yeah, I hated this race. I think once you look back at the field she faced this day, the horses that have run back on the turf, none of them have won. A lot of them dropped into the maiden claimers and still couldn't get the job done. I just think she was second best of a pretty weak field. And now she has the layoff to contend with. She's got the outside posts. She can win, but I agree with you. Ultimately, she's going to be overbet.
You have Todd Pletcher's First or Nobody Knows in the mix second, and I have the Miguel Clement horse. I didn't see a lot of turf pedigree, though there is some, to be honest, second dam as well.
Yeah, the second name was Mushka. She was a grade 3 winner on the grass, and I think
she also won the Spinster. She got place first in the Spinster or DQ'd in the Spinster? I think place first.
I'm not sure.
On synthetic.
So she's a decent pedigree there.
Good horse.
She got a chance, yeah.
Giant horse.
And they paid $250,000 for this New York bred, and I just think once you get past, or at least for me, once you get past the 1, I really thought it could be anyone, and maybe this is a race where you're supposed to take a shot on a first-time starter in here.
Yeah, and I think the conventional, the obvious one more is to take the 3, who obviously has the pedigree, and is more turf-bred. But, Todd comes into this meet pretty slow. I mean, obviously Belmont Stakes week was bad for him. There have been other meets that Todd has come to Saratoga, and you're like, well, this is not the year for Todd. He just doesn't have the firepower. And every single time he starts winning races. And he has shown an ability to point horses to Saratoga very quietly sometimes. He's always ready with MTOs. He's always sort of ready to compete up here. And maybe he's got a firster that he's waiting to run, and he's thinking, I want to win race in Saratoga. And you can do worse than take them at a big price. So I don't think it's the worst thought. I'm going to take a shot in this race with the number 10, Force of Mischief. Picking up Dylan Davis. I don't think it's that Delilah necessarily rode that badly, but this horse just got steadied out of the race, just the entire running a race down in the inside. And I actually don't think ran that badly, and it was clearly a big improvement on the turf. Now, how far does she want to go? Is an honest Mischief. I think getting the switch to Dylan, you want to give this horse another chance. And I tried Dave Donk yesterday. The horse didn't do any running. He had that improbable winner that even he was surprised won in the post-race interview. He's the best. I thought this horse would really benefit from the rider change. And I don't want to beat up on DeLelo. I think rides well. It's very hard for apprentices when you start running turf racing because they've just had no experience. And one of the things that's important in turf racing is holding position. And this horse just lost position the entire running of the race.
She checked 3 or 4 times throughout that race, and she was only beaten, was it 3 lengths by the horse I have on top, and she had a ton of trouble in there. So at 15-1, and especially for Donk, whose horses just get better and better and better the more they race, I don't hate the pick at all. I have her third.
All right, we'll see what happens. Jackson, thank you so much. Appreciate everybody watching the show today as well. Big day today, an excellent, excellent card. Nice weather. Things have gotten a lot cooler around here. Head over to Naira Bets. Speaking of being cooler, use SPA200, the promo code. We'll match the $200 initial deposit. And once again, New Jersey residents, time to sign up for Naira Bets. We are live in New Jersey, finally live in New Jersey. So use the SPA200 promo code, sign up for Naira Bets. We have a 20% double bonus, the late double today, which we just finished talking about, looking to get involved in that. Opt in for that. We have a 20% win bonus on the Great Lady M. You know who Great Lady M is? Really?
I do not.
She is the dam of Lady Secret. I don't know how good she was, but she was the damn Lady Secret.
Lady Secret was very good.
Lady Secret is one of 2 extremely talented, and I believe Breeders' Cup winning Oklahoma breds. Do you know who the other one is?
I do not know.
Kip DeVille.
The turf, right?
Yes.
Or the mile?
Yes.
Mile?
Yes.
It was a turf race.
Yeah, he was a turf miler.
Yeah.
Did he win it? Did he run second to Turler? Did he win that? I can't remember. He was a very good horse. Rick trained him a lot of his career at Dutch Row. All right, we've got, we'll be showing those Los Al races. We've got Simon and Todd and Michelle, I believe, are out at Los Al. I'm trying to remember who's on the call today. I have it actually right in front of me who's there. It is Todd, Mike Joyce, thank you, Michelle, and Simon. Mike Joyce, talked to Mike the other day. I love Mike. Truly one of the funniest people I know in life. And I'm very unhappy to hear that Tony is speaking to my ear while I'm up here. I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to sabotage his office when we leave here. What else do we have? July 4th contest. And that's till the third race today. It's $300 buy-in, 10,000 seated prize pool. Are we going to be running more of these on Saturdays, seeing the pools? I mean, you are the contest.
That's probably the plan, yeah. Yesterday we had one that was seated. We're going to have one tomorrow as well that's seated. So excited for that. Was really happy with the turnout yesterday. Shout out to Clay Sanders who took it down. I think he won over 6,000, 7,000.
He's a
it was pretty
very good contest player,
yes,
right?
Yes,
I've seen his name quite a few times. And tomorrow, what's the contest tomorrow?
Tomorrow's $300 buy-in as well. We're
Seated?
seating the prize pool with $1,500.
Okay.
So today is obviously the big one. We're seating with the BCBC seat, which for this price point is really, really
Incredible.
good.
Incredible.
It's great. So get involved. It's a great card, and there's going to be a lot of cash on hand as well.
All right, looking forward to that. And the show, 12:30 to 4 on FS2, 4 to 7:30 on FS1, FS1 from 7:30 to 11, showing Los Al races, also showing races, harness races as well. Should be a fun day, a super long day. Jackson, thanks again, and thank you for watching. The man, the voice of Saratoga, Frank Miramati. He's up next with a reprise of the Scratches and Changes. Have a sensational 4th of July.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch and bet on live horse racing from over 300 tracks worldwide. Get expert picks, play live money betting contests, and boost your bankroll with daily promotions. Naira Bets is the official betting partner of Saratoga Racecourse. Sign up now. New members use promo code SPA200 to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.